When I thought about writing this speech, I turned to Webster's Dictionary for the definition of a wedding, and I got the process of removing weeds from one's garden. And this doesn't sound like the right page. I knew John would like that one. I am in the lucky situation that I knew both Chris and Mal very well before they fell in love. And I was Chris's roommate in first year of university, that most people know, and I like to take credit that I introduced those two. So Steph's failing. So seeing how as I'm responsible for the greatest love story of all time, I'm going to tell the story of how they two met, how we got to where we are today. So we're going from the beginning. One dark, stormy night. No, I met Mal when I was in grade 7, but it wasn't until high school we became really good friends. Mostly because we were in band and we both played the saxophone. And yes, Chris, it's not gay to be in the band. Okay, the band was a cool thing when we were in high school. Okay, when it came time to choose post-secondary education, we both chose to attend Waterloo, and we did all the applications and residence forms so we had the best chance of being as close as possible. Mal Agnew called me at work today when she found out that we were in the same residence, and she knew this because she used my ID and password to log in to find out and tell me. And little did we know is that someone else was also assigned the same residence. Chris, I'm sure we both had very interesting first impressions. First of all, you showed up about 2 hours late. I know this because I was done packing, and our other two roommates were also done unpacking. And Chris strolls in, his smug attitude, backwards hat, walks into my room, looks at a poster on my wall that has a treble charger autograph and says, "Yeah, I met them." He continues to impress me by not attending a single Frost Week activity, yet wore both bracelets that would have led him to any of the activities he wanted to. On our first night in residence, we had a meet and greet in the common area that most people do to get around and introduce themselves, play icebreaker games, get to know everyone. I look across the room, and in the corner is my roommate sitting there with a bored look on his face. And I call him roommate because I did not know what his name was. He looks at me, makes eye contact, does one of these. And at that moment I knew that creepy, unshaven man sitting by himself in that dark corner was going to be my best friend, and he's never been able to shake me since. Mal and Chris became my wolf pack. However, my wolf pack eventually started having sexy eyes for each other. And during mating season 2003, which happened to fall in March that year, sparks flew. It was no secret that Chris had an obvious soft spot for Mal. Chris, I know you do not care about the history of jazz, but that didn't stop him from enrolling in the exact same class Mal said she was enrolling in. Also at the time, Chris Henderson did not do laundry. When all possible clothing options were exhausted, he went home for the weekend and B got to wash all the clothes. One afternoon I come back and there's a stack of clothes outside his door, and I'm like, oh, going home for the weekend. No, Mallory's going to show me how to do my laundry. Chris would have learned to birth cattle if Mallory was showing him how to do it. The first night Chris openly spoke about his feelings for Mallory, we were at one of Waterloo's finest establishments, Phil's. A weekend that anyone who was there will never forget. We simply refer to it as the weekend Queens came to Waterloo. Chris even asked for my permission that it was okay with me that him and Mal start dating, and it was one of the most respectful gestures anyone has ever shown me. And now you owe me one. In 2005, we moved in together and became a family. Unfortunately, I was just more of a house pet. We refer to this era as 152 Weber, a roller coaster ride of an era that included many ups and many downs. Ups that included the adoption of our baby girls, Stella and Heidi, Mal's birthday parties, Halloween, New Year's, St. Patrick, and St. Benny's Day celebrations, and endless Beirut weekends that would start on Wednesday night, American Idol pools, building snow forts to rival the neighbors, slip-and slides, meeting our Waterloo gang, which currently resides at Table 8, watching bad movies on lazy Sunday afternoons, and eventually their engagement. When it came to downs, I thought long and hard, and I can only come up with two. One afternoon, Chris and I were sitting at home, talking about our neighborhood friends, and Mal walks in and drops the bombshell. You know Rick isn't actually black, right? What? You mean our only black friend, Rick, was actually our only brown friend, Rick? And you think you know someone? On a serious note, the only serious down came to mind was the day we found out about Mal's father passing. I had known Joe for several years, and I know how much he meant to the Petternells as well as the Henderson family. He was a great man, and he passed well before his time. Mal, if he was here today, I know he'd say two simple things. He would tell you how good you look today, and he's very proud of you. Chris, if Joe was here today, he'd tell you one thing. Thank you for not letting me marry one of his daughters. It was no secret that one of my goals in life is to marry a Pitternell girl. And I had never seen a man so terrified when I told him that my duty in life was to marry one of his daughters, or possibly son. Beth, I'm sorry if it contributed to his early passing. Mrs. Henderson asked me one day, why do you want to marry a Pitternell so badly? And I responded with, because they have damn good genes. I have never met three girls who are so alike yet so different. Jolene with her fiery attitude, Jamie with her free-spiritedness, Joey Jojo. Way to be a boy. Who knows how many more girls Beth was willing to have until a boy finally came along. Mal, I respect and I adore you. You are one of the most kindest, patient, organized, supportive, and loving people I've ever met. Without you, I would never be certain I had a healthy prostate. You are a constant rock in my life that I can lean on at any time. I know Chris can lean even harder. When you're with Chris, your face glows and everyone sees it. You're going to make a fabulous wife, and Chris is very lucky to have you. Chris. During our 4 years at Waterloo, I woke up many mornings forgetting what we had done the night before, swallowed bottles of Advil. My marks probably stood well below what they should have been. I piled up significant amounts of debt to Henderson Corporation. Sold you my soul, sucker. But I wouldn't have done it any differently. Those people who know Chris very well know one very important thing about him, or one important piece of information. What Third Eye Blind semi-charmed life is about. On a serious note, you are honest and you're dependable. And without you, I'd surely be living on the streets of Waterloo. I'm very protective when it comes to Mallory, and I've never had to give you the "if you break her, I'll break you" speech, because you treat her like a queen. I know you would never hurt her in any way, and Mal is very lucky to have you. So I'm going to steal a line from the TV show Friends. You can toast this one. Joey tells Chandler just before their wedding that, "When I see you two together, I know it just fits, and I know you're going to be together forever." I could not agree more.